We know the market has been hot for buyers and sellers, really, but is that going to continue as we head throughout 2022?
Today's ciHome sponsor, the Ryan Dallas Real Estate Team. We've got Jillian Landon, designated managing broker, here with more. Okay, so it was hot last year. Is it going to be hot again in 2022, or are things going to start to fizzle?
That's the big question, right? It was so hyper competitive last spring, and everybody was talking about it. Now we're looking at the months ahead and saying, what can we expect this year? And a lot of people are watching the groundhog this week, right, to see what's happening with spring. And we're watching the sold signs run out the door. And so we know spring feels like it's already here in the local real estate market. So a couple of trends that we're watching, of course, buyers are paying close attention to interest rates as they've moved a little bit in these first couple of weeks of January. So that'll be something, a trend to watch. Supply and demand, of course, is what we're going to continue to see as driving the local market. So will the number of homes for sale keep up with the number of buyers who are wanting to secure homes? That'll be a big thing. And then, of course, sellers are asking the question, where will I go once I sell? And so, of course, we've been in this for several months, helping a lot of people navigate that. So there are a lot of creative options that we've developed over those months to help them make that transition. And then, of course, to help with supply, also talking to a lot of local builders who are starting to move some dirt, and hopefully that helps with new homes coming up to help ease some of the supply concerns that we've seen. So to answer the question shortly, we're expecting things to be super competitive. Again, we're already seeing multiple offers on a lot of homes, selling a lot of homes before they ever hit the market. Wow. And so things are picking up at a really rapid pace to start the year.
Sounds like a definite maybe to me.
Right.
What's going to happen, sure. If you're going to be selling your house, well, for the last year, it hasn't really been all that hard, quite honestly, but there are some things you want to pay attention to make sure your home is ready. And your suggestion is to go through the 5 senses and make sure you check a lot of boxes along those. Sight is the first one on the list. That seems the most obvious.
Exactly. Yep, that's the easiest one to picture, so to speak. A lot of times people are engaging with properties online. They've driven past them, so to engage the eyes on the property, of course, that's automatic. But as people enter the home, what they really want to see is, can they picture themselves living in the space? And the more we give them that option to see themselves by removing our stuff, the easier it gets. Of course, we want to keep in mind curb appeal all times of the year, snow or no snow. And then looking at the front door, of course, making sure that's a good first impression piece. And then as they walk in, the overall cleanliness of the home, which gives that impression of it being well maintained and well cared for, which is what subconsciously we want to do through staging.
So take down the giant picture of yourself over the fireplace is what she's saying.
Yes. Okay, smells up next. We want it to smell good, or do we want it to smell like cookies?
Well, so yeah, smell is one of those things that it evokes a lot of emotion, right? We tie a lot of our feelings to smell, for better or for worse. And so really the goal with the sense of smell is to really neutralize it, right? We don't want a strong negative odor. We also don't want a really strong scent that maybe you love, but not everybody does. So the goal is finding that middle ground, that neutral area of just cleanliness and getting fresh air with either ceiling fans running or the windows open when the season allows for it. But also thinking of things like taking the trash out, putting the dirty dishes away, the things that naturally just lead to the thought when you see them of what it potentially smells like. And then, of course, pet stuff we like to tuck away too.
What about touch? Because that seems like a maybe more difficult one to do.
Yeah, maybe so. When I think of touch, I think of texture, right? How do we add layers to the home, visual interest in different places? You see a cozy blanket and you naturally think of a warm space to cozy up to, right? Or maybe you're thinking of rugs under feet. That's a touch thing, right? Where you bring an element of softness by putting in a rug underfoot where you want to create a little bit of coziness. Or there are sometimes too where we also want to evoke coolness, because that often means modern and clean. And so we look at a shiny countertop or a shiny coffee table, and that evokes that touch feeling, but just layering on some textures.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we don't get to hit on hearing and taste, but really quickly, will home prices continue to rise, do you think?
Certainly so. Yeah, we have no reason to expect that they're going to depreciate. There's a lot of varying opinion about how much they're going to continue to appreciate, but the depreciation, a lot of people have completely ruled that out. So not expecting downward pressure, maybe not the strength of growth that we've seen in that 5 to 10+% range for some neighborhoods and some communities, but certainly staying strong. And of course, for anybody, selling or not, that's always a good thing because that improves our equity position and can help a lot of people.
Well, there you go. Very helpful tips. Thank you so much.
I'm very curious about taste. Is that like leave brownies out or have them lick the walls?
Maybe it's both.
Not sure which. Okay.
We'll connect you with everything happening with the Ryan Dallas Real Estate Team. And you can connect with Jillian and all of her tips at ciliving.tv.